Step into a new era of leadership. Get mindful leadership, transforming lives with me, Singh. Tune in every Tuesday, noon Pacific time on transformationtalkradio.com, where purpose, mindfulness, and passion converge to redefine what it means to lead in today's world.
Welcome to the Soul Wisdom Project, the living blueprint of the soul, with me, Shakti Botatsi, your host. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by your daily life as if something inside you is trying to get your attention? As an international teacher, shaman, and energy healer, I will bring the tools of a lifetime to guide you to explore how to live consciously, awaken your innate wisdom, integrating the design, development, and emergence of your divine blueprint. Each episode blends grounded conversation with multidimensional insight, guiding you to release old patterns, align with your higher intelligence, and live awake, aware, and fully present. The Soul Wisdom Project with me, Shakti Botatsi, starts now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What a pleasure it is to be with you today once again in this beginning of this new year. Even though we're on January 20th, it's still very much a beginning. And today's episode is You Are in Charge of Where You Spend Your Energy. This is a huge topic, especially for what is happening in terms of energy all around us in the cosmos, in the world, in politics, in our countries, regardless of where you live. It's a bit crazy out there. And I'm sure that even though I'm saying this today live in the show, will still be ringing true for many months during this coming year. This year, not this coming year, it's already here. So I chose this topic because I realized as I spoke to my clients and my friends and my family and my own experience at the beginning of this year, how there was something happening that was beyond me, beyond my home, beyond my loved ones, that was affecting me in a big way and was affecting those I love, was affecting those in my community. And I started tuning in and realizing many things that were going on. And the crucial was, where is our choice? How do we identify if what is happening is coming from inside of us, or if what is happening is coming from outside of us, and what to do in these situations, and how to understand that, and where do we go with all of this information? So if you're ready, dive with me. Let's get going. As I was saying, first thing, even though we are way into January, we're still very much into no man's land. And if you live on Earth, which you probably are since you're listening to me, you've watched and heard, and chances are information came to you from a myriad of sources from all angles. From the Chinese horoscope, it's still serpent year, it's still not horse fire year. Astrology, let's not go there because I don't want to confuse you even more. But the crux of the issue is that in terms of what's happening in the cosmos, in terms of how Earth is part of a galaxy, and we are part of everything in the cosmology that includes the Earth and the Earth circling around the sun and the planets in our galaxy and the influences that we receive from the solar flares and all of the things. We are all very much being held by a collective energetic of static energy. In very simple terms, up until now, through the beginning of the year, there have been no planets in any signs of fire. From an astrological perspective, we look at the sky from the perspective of the Earth, and the sky is divided in 12 portions, these portions being the zodiac signs. And if you are novice to astrology, these zodiac signs have a correlation to the four elements: water, fire, earth, and air. And each element has certain characteristics. And fire having the characteristic of, just like fire, moving fast and helping us do what we do in life. And currently, still, there are no planets in any fire sign. And there are many, and have been many, in earth signs. Earth. What is Earth, right? Earth is where we're grounded, we're rooted, where we stay, what's holding us. So here's the beginning of the year, and there's a collective unconscious transmission of, hey, let's get going. It's the beginning of the year. I should have all these goals. I should be getting going. Or January has already started. And at the same time, there's this energy saying, no, you're not moving. And it doesn't matter if we try to move, it's just not budging. That is the issue. And that's why most of my clients and my peers were all feeling that same thing of this energy of we're suspended. We haven't yet been able to get the momentum that happens when we have this forward movement. I love to see this as a collective pause that is bigger than any one of us individually. This is a whole energy, this pause. And it is teaching us also that when there's such a big energetic container, or energetic imprinting is more accurate, such as this one that is holding us in this moment of liminality, of still uncertainty. The old is not gone fully and the new is not fully here. It's a moment where we are being invited to really, really go inside and use our discernment and be present and aware. Let me follow through with this. So, you've all heard the adage where attention goes, energy flows. And that is such a wise and true statement. And so, when we are experiencing life in these days, and we're seeing still, and these days or any days in the future that you may listen to this podcast, because one thing I know is that since time space is an illusion of the third dimensional experience of Earth, if this episode as a podcast, as a video falls in your hands even months from now, it doesn't matter that it's not January 20th when you're watching it, because whatever will be happening in the collective and in your life will have something to do with this information. This information will be reaching you because there's information here that goes way beyond what's happening to us right now. And this is where it's so important to address, when we are living in a collective energy, how we move through it. First awareness that I invite you to check in with is, whenever you're feeling whatever you're feeling in this moment, there's probably a lot of confusion. Also, because there's so much conflicting and contradictory information out there. The question that you have to ask yourself is this energetic, or is this feeling mine? Am I feeling this because it's mine, or am I feeling this because it's coming from the outside and somehow I'm picking up upon it and I'm not clear about, is this mine or is this from the outside? And that is very important. That is where the inner authority matters most, right? Not just in, is this energy mine or is this energy coming from outside, but also the information you are receiving from the world. We are receiving so much information all the time. Just a couple of days ago, there was a new moon, and this client of mine messaged me and she said, hey, should I do the ritual about setting my goals and my intentions today, or should I wait for the 20th, or should I wait for the 26th? Because there's so much information out there. I'm so confused. And I loved that question. It like inspired me even further to share what I'm sharing today because true, the 18th we had the new moon in Capricorn, big deal. And then today there's a trine between Venus and Mars and the Sun, which is a very positive trine, but it's asking us to really tune into what we do and why we do it and what we like and how we shine and a million other things. And then on the 26th, Neptune. Neptune is finally, after years, 16 years or so, and a year of navigating between Aries and Pisces, moving finally into Aries. It's a big deal. And so she was asking me, well, which of these dates is the one that I have to use? And of course, guess my answer, right? It's like, well, tune into yourself, what feels right for you, because it doesn't matter what the outside world says. What matters is what is in you and what is guiding you. Remember that information is neutral. It's the relationship to it that matters, how we take it in, what we do with that information. We can just not do nothing with it, or worse, have a passive consumption of it. So here's the thing, right? When we are in these states of I don't know what to do and I'm exhausted and it's sometimes, yeah, let's say hard, right? To be in this state of I want to do things and I want to start my year and I want to do what I need to do and I want to have this fresh feeling of, a kid on a first day of school when we had these, new notebooks and new pens and it's not happening this year, not yet at least. It's going to happen, but a little bit further down the road. And so a lot of us go into numbing ourselves. And what is the most at hand way to numb ourselves in this moment? Social media. And the hardest thing about social media, and believe me, I have powerful awareness of this, and I still fall prey of it, is that when we are exhausted at the end of the day and we may sit on the couch and we grab our phones and we're like, oh, let's see what's happening in Instagram. And we just start scrolling. And what happens there is that in this passive state of being, a complete outside authority is deciding what is coming into your mind. And what is worse is that you engage with it, you like, you do, and you follow this thread, which is not your path, is a path that something, someone, an algorithm, in artificial intelligence, marketing savvy, statistic information is wanting you to consume, is wanting you to take in so that then you can be manipulated into other things, etc., etc. And that's why here's one of those where passive consumption is outside authority. Again, energy coming from the outside, just not as energy from the sun and the cosmos, but things that are coming from the outside. Somebody else, something else, somewhere else is having you consume this information. And I'm not saying do not go to social media. I would never say that also because you can do whatever you want to do. But I do invite you to go to social media and go search for those coaches or inspiring influencers that you follow, or those recipes of healthy things that you want to watch, or your friends, connect with a friend. Be purposeful. Go into social media not in a passive, exhausted state of being where whatever is given to you, you just take in, but in a leaning forward, intentional inquiry. And it can be a lot of fun because social media, when we are in a winter, for example, I'm in a very very gray winter day right now with temperatures below freezing here. And to be able to reach out to people thanks to this technology, which I like to call sacred technology as well, because it can be, it's wonderful, right? So we can build relationship with it if used with intentionality again, right? So that's one aspect. Be mindful of what you are allowing to influence your energy. And that's why the title of this episode, right, is what you choose where you use your energy, right? And this happens too with, for example, the movies you watch, the books you read, when you are around people. Well, of course, the people you choose to be around, but let's say that you're around people you love. This happens to me. I love my sons, I love my husband, I love my friends. And yet sometimes you're having a conversation and for example, for me, what happens in my context is the morning. I take my time to start the day in a very high frequency. I do my gratitude rituals, I do my prayers, asking for the collective and individually for who's in need. I send energy to those I work with that are in need. And then I do also meditation for myself and I ask for guidance. And I have this beautiful, beautiful space that I choose to live at the beginning hours of the day. I love to get up early and expand my experience of what the day will be, and then I vision how the day should be, and only then I come out and I initiate my day. And with my husband, he knows this. So when the alarm goes off, either I go into the other room or he goes into the other room. We separate and we each do our thing. So when we're complete, I go look for him. It normally takes me much longer than it takes him, and I'm like, okay, let's go for breakfast. And so we're having breakfast, and I'm in this state of super elation. I feel very connected, and the bomb. Sorry, honey. Sorry, I'm putting him on the spot. And the bomb is politics, right? Whatever it is. And I say to him, it's like, please don't talk about politics at this time of day. I don't want to go there. And he's like, okay, okay, sorry. And then 2 seconds later, he's like, yeah, and did you see the article about this? And I'm like, and and the third time I engage, I forget to stop him. And it is instant. The energy goes from up here to boom down there. And and then I stop and I'm like, stop. I don't want to have this conversation right now. Because we love those around us, it's not always easy, okay, to hold that choice, the choice of what I consume, what is being put into my mind, what images are being put into my mind. And I know in the world, some of us are kinesthetic, some of us are visual, some of us are auditory. We have different senses with which we perceive the world and different senses that are the ones guiding us into our experience of life. And for some of us, when somebody shares words about something, in my case, this is true. I vision things in my mind. It's instant. My mind creates the visual of what's happening. And potentially because of the work I do, because I'm choosing to be empathic and open to the world, then this stays with me for a long time. I often have to dream about it for several nights until I can take it out of my system. I'm sharing with you what's happening to me so that you can on your own tell me, is this happening to you? And I'd love to hear from you, by the way. Know that you can send messages here to the network and I will see them and we can have a conversation about this. So please do. And yeah, so this choice of what I allow into my mind, it's easier said than done. I'm not saying to you, oh, you have to make sure I'm saying I'm here with you, okay? I'm just here walking by your side. We're all in this together. And it's a big deal. Movies are a huge one for me. I've learned many years ago now that I can't always watch movies or series. There's days where I just can't. I just can't. I don't have the energetic to watch them. And when I do, I have to be very aware of what I choose to watch because being a movie and visual, like I was saying, it stays with me and it impacts me a lot. I've come to understand, and this may be useful for some of you. If I'm saying it, I'm sure it's because some of you need to hear this, that when we watch a movie, for example, even a romance movie or a movie, a drama, right? And I'm one that cries all the time when I watch dramas, okay? And I used to ask myself, well, why? Why is this touching me so deeply? This is not even ever happened in my life. Sometimes I really have these high emotions about whatever is happening in a movie, and it has nothing to do with any experience that I've had in my life, none whatsoever. But then I understood something, and that's that, just like I was saying at the beginning of today's show, we attune to the energies that are outside of us, to the collective. And in the collective, everything, every human being experiences, every sorrow, every wisdom, every lesson, every joy, every information that science discovers, everything is in there. And we have a continuous exchange of our daily experience, moment by moment, with that energetic of the collective. And at the same time, we pick up from that. So when we watch a movie, even though it may be a fiction, there is a story there that many in the collective of humanity have experienced in real life. And when you are watching that story and you're resonating and you're crying, you're not just crying because you're watching that movie. You are resonating to that energetic that is resonating with that story in humanity in the collective. I wonder how this information feels to you. I wonder if this feels true to you. I don't want to, like I'm saying, be discerning. I'm not saying just take my word. I'm saying analyze it, feel into it, decide if this is true for you. Be discerning, right? Make your choice. For me, this is very powerful. And when this understanding came to me, it almost helped me relax a little bit about these strong emotions that some films, movies, shows elicit in me. And to understand that it's okay because I'm processing for the collective, which is, by the way, a lot of what I do or how I do in a very shamanic way. When I work with clients, I have a lot of shamanic training with different tribes and different transmissions. And I have been trained to use my body, my energy body, as a means to help both harmonize the people I work with. And sometimes that works by me using all my energetic to pull things out and then allow them to flow through me and leave my body. I would never take something on. That's part of the training. But because of this openness and this training, this same thing happens to me when I watch a movie. But sometimes this happens to you without the training or without the awareness. And I want you to have the awareness that this is the case. Therefore, what I'm trying to say to you is be mindful and be aware that even those that you love and those with whom you choose to engage because they're wonderful people sometimes may derail you in your intentions because that's where they are on that day. And we have ways of staying within our lane without being mean. This happened the other day, very simply with my son. We were having a beautiful conversation. They live far away in different countries from me. So we have these beautiful WhatsApp calls. And after a long time, after maybe 45 minutes of conversation, he started bringing up the politics of this country I live in, the United States. And I literally said to him, I'm loving our conversation today, and I choose not to go there. Please, let's not have this conversation now. That's it. That's all it took. And he said, fair enough. That's a phrase he uses a lot. I love it. Even though I'm an Argentine and one of my sons was born in Argentina and the other one was born in the US and they grew up in Italy, okay? And we speak the three languages, all of us. With one of my sons, I speak more in Italian. With the other one, I speak more in English. This was the one that speaks more in English. And he literally says, fair enough. And I loved it because then he's like, okay, that's good. Yep. And so we switched to another conversation. And I was so happy when I hung up because I had all the uplifting energy of that exchange that's so loving. And I was able to hold that high frequency because I was very mindful. And he wasn't put upon because the way I said it was very clear. It's like, I choose not to have this conversation now. If that's okay with you, let's just move to another conversation. And he was like, yeah, I get it. That's good. Right? Therefore, remember that when we go into any exchange of energy with a person, with a location, with a media, social media, TV, radio, whatever, podcast, okay? And we go with a blank mind of passivity, passiveness, passive, then you are relinquishing your sovereignty. You're relinquishing your own power and you are giving away that power by allowing whatever, whoever, and whichever to put in your container the beautiful being that you are, whatever is that is not what you chose to put in there. Intentionally seeking focuses energy, and that's my invitation to you to be aware of all these things. Which brings me to that conversation I had with my client, and where she was saying, well, but what is the best time? And I want to say to you, because of the moment of the year in which we are on, and know that between now and the end of April, so much beauty is going to happen to all of us through the influences of the planets in our galaxy. We're going to have an immense energetic of fire when two big planets, Neptune and Saturn, go together into, well, first Neptune, soon after Saturn, and at one point they're going to be conjoined together. Conjoined means one on top of the other at almost 0 degrees of Aries, which is the most 0 degrees of Aries is the strongest degree of all of the zodiac because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. 0 degrees is magnified. And here we have these two giants bringing the expansion of our hearts, the expansion of our ability to feel one, feel love, and at the same time we bring Saturn that says yes, but not so fast, and brings some structure and a container and helps us play in this world, in this reality with these two things, this willingness to expand, and at the same time, this container that gives us some framework. And at the same time, so many other planets are going to come into Aries that we are all, again, the collective, just like we felt this static and we're feeling still potentially the remnants or the last tail of this staticity because of the earth planets, we're going to feel this, well, this fire that is going to be igniting us and inviting us to move forward at a speed. Remember also, fire horse is February 17th, the Chinese year of the horse in fire. All this fire, 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 and initiation. And we're going through this cycle of dying to the old, of letting go really, really, really of the old cycles of not longer service, because the 0 degrees of Aries and this new beginning is major. It's like a whole big reset, turning off the light, putting back on the light for all of humanity. And because of this, it is very important that we set up goals and intentions for this year. And goals, you may say, well, but I don't know yet what I want to do. And I do know the intentions, but I want to tell you this. At all times and throughout the year, and especially through certain moments, and we're going to talk about what those are, it is fundamental that you get clear about what is it that you desire and what is it that you set yourself to achieve. Even though you're in this moment of staying put, fine, but when you begin moving, in what direction will you begin moving? And know that setting a goal, that really choose three, okay? You don't need to put a whole list. Choose three main goals and know that it's okay as you begin taking action to modify them a little bit, because as you take one step forward, more information is going to be clear for you. You will be shown with more clarity what is the direction you're being called into and what are the projects that are going to be for your highest and best. And therefore, with a compassionate heart, not harshly judging yourself, but with a compassionate heart, saying, I thought this was the right goal for this year, but I can see now that that's probably not going to be for my benefit, because a goal needs to be large enough that it helps you extend, that it's a challenge, but it has to be achievable. You cannot put a goal that is so far from where you are that you won't be able to achieve it, at least within the container of a year. Remember, we said before in the call of January 6th, we spoke about how we overestimate what we can do in a year and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years. So maybe that big goal we can do in 10 years, chunking it down in year containers. So be mindful and be wise as you set these goals for yourself in a way that you can achieve them, but that they are a challenge enough to keep you going, to keep you on your toes, because that energy, that adrenaline of the stretch is a beautiful fuel of excitement when we move forward. And remember at all times, since the energy of excitement and fear is so similar, and the only difference is what we speak in our minds, remember at all times that if you set these goals for yourself and then at a certain point you feel a bit in fear, saying, I won't be able to achieve these goals, then just check your mind and go, but it's exciting. And shift that energy from fear into excitement. And it's the same physical, somatic experience. But the mind is the one that defines how you're going to experience it. Which brings me to, which are the dates that are ideal for setting these goals and these intentions, and for doing a small ritual, lighting a candle, writing it down on a piece of paper, journaling about it, anchoring it down, grounding it. Because remember that our reptilian brain, the basic or origin of our brain, needs the rituals to be able to understand that this has happened, that this is an ending and a new beginning. That's why humanity has, and regardless of the country, regardless of the religion, regardless of the culture, there's these rituals like marriage, like baptisms, like bar mitzvahs, like quinceañeras, like like a graduation ceremony, all of these ceremonies that humanity has had for eons now, because those are the ones telling the reptilian brain, this has ended this type of life. I'm not longer a kid, bar mitzvah. I'm now a man, right? Quinceañera, same thing. So these rituals are important, and the invitation is for you to set up your intention, to get clear on three main goals, and to do a mini ritual for yourself, to light a candle, to write a little note, to put a stone on it, whatever it is that works for you, but doing it, creating a space of beauty, a moment of connection, a moment of expansion, and a moment of recognition from you to you about who you are, acknowledging your dreams, receiving yourself, welcoming all of you. You are doing this for you. So when are the best moments to do this? Well, the first answer is any day, anytime it works, okay? But since we live on this beautiful blue planet that has a lot of natural cycles and that rotates around the sun and harmony with so many other planets in this galaxy, there's so much beauty happening in these natural cycles, and our bodies, the biology of where our soul resides, are deeply connected with the earth, and they are made of the same matter as earth, and we have codes inside of us that were given by the earth for us to be able to experience life on earth in our bodies. That's why when we choose in a smart and wise way to pick a date that is a marker in the natural cycles of life on earth, that's why we are even more supported, because the energies of that moment are aligned with the willingness of what we're doing. So, for example, new moons. New moons are not like full moons. They're both amazing moments, but they're different because a new moon is, and we get 13 of those in a year since 365 days, which is the go around the sun, and the moon is about 29 days cycle. When you multiply, you're getting 13 moons in a year. You get 13 moons, and each new moon you get it in a different sign of the zodiac. And every sign, like we said earlier, has different influences. Is it a fire sign or water or earth or air? And what's the sign? And there's information there. And that new moon is the dark moon, the moment of birthing the seed, when you plant the seed under the earth in the dark. And it gives that seed the opportunity, just like when we plant a seed on the earth, to sit there and have the space to break the hull and to begin coming out through the dark and then come out into the earth and then become a plant, a fruit, a flower, and all of it. So when we, in a new moon, when we do a ritual where we're setting up intention, it's a beautiful aligned time for that, because the cycle of the earth is setting an intention for humanity. When we're in a full moon, is, imagine, full moon, we're pregnant with this project, we're pregnant with that energetic that is just wanting to come out, wanting to be delivered into the world. So maybe when you are in the midst of a project and you're needing inspiration and you're needing support from the earth and you're needing just a just a charge of energetic, and you're pregnant with all of whatever it is that you are the co-creator of, then do that ceremony in a full moon moment and ask to be guided into how to best bring this project to full bloom and how to best be visible and birth the project and take it forward and influence or affect in the beautiful way whoever you're choosing to. Can you see the difference? And then, of course, we have the seasonal markers. We have the solstices and the equinoxes. And in the wheel of the year, like all the beautiful Celtic um, traditions, they have the mid-season point. For example, February 1st is midwinter. It's called Imbolc, and the goddess Bridget is the one that helps us on February 1st. And we can use that midwinter, which speaks to the fact that very soon the days are going to be equal in light and dark when we come to the equinox of the 21st of March, and use these seasonal markers again in alignment with what you're trying to achieve. For me, for example, the solstice in winter, December 21st, this past December, I knew I needed to go inside and rest and cocoon. I knew that my intention for these first months of the winter was to allow my body and my soul to recharge from an incredibly well-lived 2025. And I needed that rest, that respite. So winter takes us inside, takes us to be hibernating, to be dormant. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's the other way around. The summer equinox, the summer solstice is inviting you to go out, to live, to express, to be out during all the hours of the day. So the moment in which you choose to have these rituals or these small ceremonies for yourself, the more you align them with the cycles of the earth in beauty, not with a pressure of I have to do it this day because Neptune is here and Saturn is there, and checking in with yourself again, checking in with what is it that is aligned with me in this moment? Does it feel better to do this ritual now with this new moon that, for example, we just had in Capricorn? Or is it better to wait a few more days because I'm very connected with whatever position this planet, Mars, Venus, and the Sun have in my chart, and I want to do it during that day? Don't do it with your mind. Choose, pick the dates with your inner knowing, bringing that authority inside and not letting all of the outside noise to pressure you, because that's what was happening, is that there's so much information. Just like, have you noticed, I'm sure you have because we all have, that the information about what to eat is impossible to follow. Be vegan, be vegetarian, eat meat, be keto, not dairy, no eggs. Yes, a lot of Aries, dairy. Yes, a lot of eggs. Don't do tofu because it's hormonally bad. Don't do eggs because it's hormonally bad. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do, right? Completely inconsistent. So just go in, check in with your gut. If you're an emotional being, a being that needs to move through your emotional curve, allow that emotion to settle inside so that you can feel and know what is best for you. And then with that choice, because you have a choice, that's the whole point of this conversation, using that discernment that comes from deep within you, make your choice and do your ritual, set up your goals, set up your intentions, remembering to course correct if needed. And by the way, if you're needing support with that, go to my website, theawakenpath.com, and there's a lot of free resources there to support you. There's a couple of meditations, there's two or three handouts. One is the Living Blueprint Guide that I've spoken about already in this program. There is a handout about how to set up a successful morning ritual. And there's a tracker there, a bonus tracker, so you can download that and track what works, what doesn't work for you. There's another one about living in embodiment. What does that mean, and what can you do about it, and how to recognize it? And there's two different meditations, and you can go there, check what's out there, download it for free, and just I hope it helps you, because that's what fills my soul, that you can use these resources that I'm offering to support you in this journey. As I was saying, inner authority, outer authority. Discernment versus fear-based avoidance. Yeah? So, what is our task in this moment, in this crazy moment of the earth? We need you. Each one of us is needed big time, just the way I am, just the way you are. I saw this little meme today that I loved of this cat asking a unicorn, isn't it hard to fit being a unicorn? And the unicorn's answer was, yes, but it's a lot harder to try to pretend I fit. And it's so true, right? We need us, unicorns, to shine our beautiful unicornian colors, rainbows, whatever, and be who we are because nobody can be you. And if you're here at this moment on earth, is because with conscious choice, you chose to be here on earth at this time. And you have, I guarantee you, if you're here on earth at this time, you have a task to accomplish. I also don't want to scare you. The task doesn't necessarily need to be this mega task of be like famous or write a book, or it could be a simple task such as be a wonderful mother to your children because they have things to do on earth too, and they chose you with your approach to life to set up the space and the home for them so that they can grow. And amazing. You may be needed as a teacher, you may be needed as a wife, you may be needed as a sister, a daughter, a friend. And yes, you may be needed as somebody famous, and maybe you have a book inside of you and you need to write that book. And I'm asking you, lean into that and write that book. And you need to be more visible. And I'm asking you, heal whatever is keeping you in hiding and be visible. You know what that is. And if you don't know yet, then listen to what we've spoken about today. Check inside and check in. Are you numbing yourself? Are you letting a lot of that passive state of being? Are you experiencing a lot of those passive states of being? Are you using that passivity more than you wish you would? Well, course correct. Do it lovingly and choose a goal of less time doing it or changing the way in which you do it. And like I said earlier, instead of just passively scrolling, choose to go check in on maybe Shakti on the Awakened Path or some other coach or um, listen to a podcast that's inspiring. And oh, by the way, if you don't know this, all my episodes are in all the famous podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Audible. So you can also download the episodes and listen again when you go walking if you need inspiration. So remember that's an option too. I don't think I've mentioned it before. And not just social media, books, movies, conversations, environments, the people that you surround yourself with. Check that too. Sometimes we, for fear of not finding our own soulful tribe, we've stayed in a tribe that is not ours and we're not happy. And the people that we spend the most time with really, really shape our inner climate. And this is one of the things most of my clients ask me a lot, and they say to me, they ask me this question, they say, well, I'm afraid of really doing these things, of growing, of living my most expanded self, because then that means I will lose all these friends that I love and that saddens me, so I don't want to lose them. And my view of that is that all the people that are in your life, that have been in your life, are are inside of you. You are who you are because of all of those relationships. And you could not be who you are today if you would not have had that friend. Very famous saying, people come to your life for a reason, for a season, or forever. So true. Maybe that season is complete and it's time to move to the next tribe for the next season that fits more your needs, who you are, because conversations need to nourish you. And if you're staying in a tribe that's not yours, in a collective community of some type that is not yours, and conversations that are flat and superficial, they won't be filling you in a way that you feel nourished. And eventually you will be bitter about it and you will feel bad. We need that nourishment to the level in which we are. And therefore, you can give yourself permission to go seek that tribe that is your tribe if you haven't done it, if you are hesitant about it, knowing that you still can keep these relationships that in daily life, in the nourishment that you need daily, probably are not the perfect ones for you at this moment, but you can always check with them. There's love, there's history there. And sometimes a little bit more superficial conversation is fine too, but you're getting the nourishment where you need it. That's important. This that we're talking about, some people call it energetic boundaries, energetic hygiene, self-awareness. My conversation today is about bringing once again the awareness to you that being fully who you are is what's going to make you feel fulfilled. To check in with yourself on when you're leaning off kilter and allowing the outside world, the outside authority to influence you in a way that you haven't chosen, therefore leaving you feeling unfulfilled, flat, confused, disenergized, tired, easier word, um, and to reclaim that inner authority and to be mindful of this and to check in with your inner world and to really do this over and over. You may have been noticing how much today, simply this conversation already is bringing back to you energy because this this podcast, right? This conversation, this live show is so that if you're listening, if you're watching, most likely it's because you're resonating with what I'm saying. Otherwise, you wouldn't have stayed this long to listen to this crazy Shakti speaking about whatever she's speaking today. Because this is exactly the kind of work I support. I support you. I help you. I help people to come back into their inner authority, to gain clarity about what it is they are about what's their purpose, and then to embody that, to make that their life's life. So, the same way in which you're noticing this energy and this um, transmission that is happening as we're having this conversation is the same way in which you can choose in your life to do the same so that everything, I mean, let's aim high. Everything you do, everyone you're with, everywhere you go is filling your cup in a beautiful, soft, nurturing way. And then from a cup runneth over because you're giving to yourself what you're needing. Then you can do for those you love what they're needing because you're doing it from a cup runneth over as opposed to doing it from a should, a must, eventually getting exhausted, eventually becoming bitter because of it. So the reminder, yeah, that's the right word, that there is no perfect timing to do things necessarily, even though there are times that are most convenient, like the points that relate to cycles of nature. But the right ritual is whatever is the right day to you. Maybe something came up for you and it's the quarter moon and you don't want to wait 3 weeks to set the intention for a new project, so you just do it, right? We don't need to wait for that. Like, you are the co-creator. You choose when is the right moment. And yes, you now know and have the awareness, and you probably had it before you listened to me today, is just a reminder for you that there's all these moments. And beyond the moments I mentioned, you also this year, if you follow astrologers online, there's so much information, beautiful information, also given free about what's happening in the stars and what will be happening in these cycles coming in the next months. It is so beautiful what we are up against, what's coming up for humanity, the energy supporting the transformations for all of the countries of the world. And because of that, because there's so much happening, because there's so much dismantling, because the dismantling is what's needed so that what's no longer servable can go, can crawl so that we can build the new. That's why also the outside information coming in may be overwhelming if you don't use this discernment we're talking about today. For me, being informed of the news is important. And so I have set up a search in internet of the main highlights of some news, and if there's something I want to dig deep, I go, I say, now I'm going to read these news. I go, I look at the news, and then I disengage. I don't follow all the chit chat about them, all the opinions of everybody. I just get myself my clear opinion. That's it. Of course, I'm informed about what's going on in the world. It's important that we know what's going on in the world, but I engage with it purposely at the time I choose to do it, and how, like I am inviting you to be aware with presence, with attention to what is it that you are doing in this now moment, what you're choosing to do, when you're choosing to do it, with intention, not just passively, with intention, with purpose, why you're doing this in this moment. And the invitation, therefore, is to be intentional with what you let shape your inner world. Choose consciously, allowing the energy to work with you. You are the one who decides what, who, where has access to you. That's not something that happens passively to you if you take that choice from the outside world. And as I was saying, if you want to continue exploring in your own time, there's two fundamental meditations on my website. There's one helping you harmonize and align every chakra so that it can rotate and vibrate at the perfect frequency for your highest and best. It's a short one, probably 12 minutes-ish. And you can do that every day at the beginning of the day, aligning yourself as you come down from slumber. And then there's another one that is opening yourself up to connect directly with your divine team, with your spirit guides, so that you can receive guidance directly. So you can really have that agency in that connection and in that ability to direct your life and make conscious choices, again, without needing to seek that outside of you. So that's what I had for you today. I thank you for being here. I thank you for following me. I'm asking you to please, if these topics are exciting for you, if these topics touch your heart, your soul, your beingness, please share and share the links, expand this information by sharing it with your friends, with your families, with whoever you know may be in need of this. My reach is not that big, but it is my intention to grow my ability to have a bigger impact. It is in my heart and my soul's calling to do that. Until then, until the first Tuesday in February, which is our next call, be gentle with yourself and trust that rhythm that's finding you, trust that inner authority, and just go be the beautiful unicorn that you are. Love and light to you. Thank you for joining me, Shakti Botatsi, on the Soul Wisdom Project, Remembering the Living Blueprint of the Soul. Tune in every first and third Tuesday each month at 9 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Continue your journey of conscious embodiment, integrating the design, development, and emergence of your divine blueprint. Deepen your exploration through my book, Remembering Her, A Soul Embodiment Journey, and discover mentoring and retreats at theawakenedpath.com. Healing is possible. Your journey is sacred design in motion. To put overwhelm in your past, contact me at www.theawakenedpath.com. Stay awake, stay aligned, and keep living your soul's wisdom. See you next time.